So, what was it like for you coming to America for the first time?
So I have been coming on vacation to New York, to see my to visit my brother prior to coming. But the last time that I came permanently was when I was 15, and it was in 1987. And it wasn't like a joyful event. There was a lot of you know political situation back home. So my mom, didn't think that it was safe for us to stay there because there was a lot of murder, kids going missing. So she chose to send us to New York.
So, you said your mom was supportive of your move to the United States. How about your father?
My father wasn't. He expected us to go there briefly and then to come back home. But since when nothing got resolved, it got worse. My mom decided to keep us in New York, and my father was very upset about it.
What was your like? What was your life like in Haiti besides like the political issues and?
I guess that I was spoiled. I mean, I didn't do much. All I can remember is going to school, hanging out with my friend at school, but then always being home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because growing up as a girl in Haiti, there was a lot of restrictions. So there wasn't much that you could do. Like I could not just go to the mall and hang out with my friends. I would have to go to school and come home.
So you didn't have much free time?
No, never.
What was school like for you in America, contrasted with Haiti?
Haiti, I spoke the language. I had friends that I grew up, I grew up with, and then I arrived in America, New York. I'm in the middle of, strangers. I do not speak the language, and high school is tough, as you know, since you're in high school. But not being able to communicate, being made fun of for your accent, it was torture.
Mm-hmm. What was the worst and best experience you had in your first few years in America?
Um, I think the worst was I remember I was in high school one day, and then that girl came up to me and started talking to me, and she was calling me like Frenchy, which is not a nice word to
Mm-hmm.
call someone.
Mm-hmm.
And was telling me, why are you here? That I smell weird.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the worst for me, and I remember going home that day and wanting to just go back home to Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
The best, I guess, it's it's being able to overcome all the challenges that I had to encounter, like the language, the cold.
Yeah.
Because in Haiti it's always warm.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the best. Being able to overcome all the challenges and
Mm-hmm.
the obstacle in my way.
How long did it take for you to learn English and to become well adjusted to your life in America?
I'm still learning. I mean, I'm definitely more vocal. I'm definitely have a better grasp of the language, but there's always new word. There's always I think I'll always be learning.
Um, would you say that you're still in touch with your Haitian culture? If so, what do you do to stay in touch with your roots?
I will say no, because I was 15 and I moved here. Um, so I still, eat the food. We still have like particular meal at like on New Year's Eve, Christmas. So in that sense, I'm still in touch with my culture, but otherwise, I don't think that I am really.
Yeah. Did you ever consider going back to Haiti once you had your children, or were they better off in America?
So I did go back actually after Whitney, your sister, was 18 months. I did try to go back, and unfortunately, it was still, the political situation was still, not, at its worst.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to stay there. I was there for 6 months, and I must must say that it was the worst experience for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think I could ever go back.
When you came to America, what career goals did you have?
I wanted to be a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
but then not being able to speak as quickly as I was expecting, I decided to go back to switch to nursing, which unfortunately, because of the language barrier, also I had to put a pause on. So um, I just, learned the. I think my goal at that time was to learn the language,
Mm-hmm.
and then decide then what I wanted to do.
Did you take classes to learn the language?
Yes. So in high school they had like ESL classes. When I graduated, I did go to in college also there was like ESL classes. So I was constantly taking ESL classes. I made sure that I was reading in English instead of French. I made myself try to think in English instead of French
Mm-hmm.
to make it easier for me.
What jobs did you have before?
So now I'm a nurse, but before becoming a nurse, I used to work as a cashier in a department store in New York, and
Mm-hmm.
then when I moved to Boston, I went back to school and got a degree in medical assisting. So I was like a secretary and medical assistant, and then I went back to school again, the last time, and that's when I became a nurse.
What was it like when you became a nurse? How did you feel?
Oh, it was great. I was because the first time that I attempted wasn't because I didn't want to, but with English being hard to
Mm-hmm.
read, um, so being able to overcome that challenge and going back to school and becoming a nurse, it was great.
Good.
Yes, yeah,
That's the interview.
yeah.
All right.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.